welcome back to GTD. It's the Coke 600 coming off of an incredible All-Star break weekend with some incredible racing. But now we're at the home of NASCAR, Charlotte. And there's a lot of things to talk about, such as Larson doing the double-double again. A little big double for him. And we have some race winners to pick for you, and we can break down the racing because it's a little bit more of a strategy race just with the long race it is. So we'll break down everything you need to know. But
nope,
let's get
it's
right
not.
into
There are 4 100-lap stages. All strategy has been ruined.
Yes, yeah. But hey, we're still gonna be excited because it's Coke 600. It's Memorial Day weekend, and it had great racing last year
We are, yes.
until Mother Nature hit, and we hope that doesn't happen this week, but it might. But let's start with dark horses
Yeah,
because
it might.
rain is dark. So who's your dark horse?
Yes, let's start with dark horses indeed. First off, happy Monaco-Annapolis weekend, everyone who's watching this. But my dark horse for the weekend is, you guys might not know this very much, actually, or if you watched our studio shows, you know I have the Jimmie Johnson diecast on the desk. Big Jimmie Johnson fan. It's his 700th start this weekend, and in my opinion, I think it's his last, based on all the press moving up towards it. Legacy Motor Club has actually had speed recently, especially at intermediates. John Hunter Nemechek's been cooking at Texas and Kansas. Eric Jones has had speed. Give me Jimmy Jam as the dark horse. I think Jimmie Johnson has a good race here for his possible final start at the Coke 600. Who's your dark horse?
Well, first of all, 700 starts, the Coke 600. Those are some big numbers. I don't know. I want to root for it because I like the story, but his performance in NASCAR in the last, I don't know, I guess 5 years at this point is leading me to think
third
otherwise.
In Daytona. Don't ask how.
Yeah, I could have finished 8th if I was walking. But my dark horse, I think I'm gonna go Danny Suarez. A little bit of an oddball. Not when you. He's like maybe depending on what track and how he feels, kind of toasts the line of dark horse versus should be competitive. So I think I've seen some things I've liked from him. He ran well at Charlotte last year. I don't think he finished well, but he ran well, was competitive. Trackhouse is on the up and up the last few weeks. Ross Chastain has been really competitive. SVG's he's gotten a little better at ovals, but he's still SVG. But I think this is a weekend Daniel Suarez really wants to, put himself back out there and let fans know, hey, I'm still here. You still got to worry about me. Like Connor Zillich isn't just going to run in and take my seat. I still want to be here and still think I can be here. So I think he's going to make a statement this weekend.
Well, I certainly would be pleasantly surprised by that. I doubt Trackhouse's pace, honestly. Not even Daniel Suarez as a driver. I'm just worried about their whole intermediate program in general at this point. But moving on to picks for the win, I'm going Hendrick Motorsports, but it's not the guy doing 1,100 miles, and it's not the most popular driver, but it's the second fastest Hendrick driver on intermediates this year, and that is Alex Bowman. It is the year of Bowman right now. He would be top 4 in regular season points without his 2 DNFs this season for mechanical issues and then caught up in someone else's mess. I think Alex Bowman is having an incredible season, and what a way to kick off the summer of Bowman this would be with a Coke 600 win, and I think he does it. I think they put the full race together, and the 48 goes back to victory lane in Jimmie Johnson's last start.
The summer of Bowman. Well, we had the fall or playoff stint of Bowman until he got disqualified after me and Mike stole his bumper. But the summer of Bowman, I like that. And I didn't even think about the 48 going into victory lane. That's an interesting storyline now that you mention it. I don't hate that at all. And I'm with you. We've seen what we've seen from Alex Bowman since, like I said, August last year. Has really been, on the up and up. Him and Chase Elliott are really kind of here and here for who's the third guy at Hendrick right now, depending on what type of track you're at. If you're at a shorter track, it's probably Chase Elliott. And super speedways are super speedways, but intermediates, Alex Bowman has shown a lot of speed. So I don't hate that. I'm also going Hendrick, and I'm also not going Larson, who's doing the double. I'm going William Byron. It feels like a William Byron weekend. He's competitive at every track right now. He's arguably, I know Larson's driving ability is just right there. But if you look at the stats, he's been the best guy at Hendricks the last, 2 seasons, So I just, you can't count him out. I'm going William Byron.
Yeah, he's been on a little bit of a rough run of form recently. They've admitted they can't quite figure the short tracks out, and I think that's been evident. But even at the intermediates, it feels like no matter what kind of track you're at this year, William Byron is always going to be the third fastest Hendrick car, and he's cemented his place there. And we know that 24 has more potential than that. They have more speed than that. I wouldn't be surprised at all if you see Byron go to victory lane here, but I think we are in agreement. It's going to be someone from the Hendrick Motorsports shop, which is about 10 feet from Charlotte Motor Speedway, if you've ever been to it out there. It is right there on the doorstep. But yeah, I'm really excited for this race. I think the racing itself it should be good. I know I'll be there. I haven't mentioned that yet in the episode, but I will be in Charlotte this weekend for both the Xfinity race and the Coke 600. Love going up to it all the time. One of my favorite races in NASCAR, and looking forward to it. Keegan and I have this debate all the time. I miss my yellow walls from back when I was a kid, the nostalgia of going up there with the yellow walls and like Casey Kane and the Quaker State car. Just the nostalgia hits hard there, but I can recognize the love for the patriotic
red,
walls,
white, and
the racing is always good. Yeah, red, white, and blue on the walls up there in Charlotte. But I think the racing should be good here. This is one of the tracks that has really been good in the next-gen era. All the intermediates usually are, apart from Texas, because of the track design. But I'm curious to see what guys coming from the back can do, because we always see a couple guys that are off in qualifying. Sometimes it's Ryan Blaney. You've seen it a couple times with the Denny Hamlin, a lot of times with the Ross Chastain and some slower trackhouse cars. Should be fun to see. What do you think we can expect for the racing this weekend in Charlotte?
I mean, if the intermediate package has been anything to go off of, and even Charlotte last year at the Coke 600, I do think you're going to see a lot of movement. I think you're going to see more movement early than late. I think really the last stage, your guys up front are going to be the guys up front contending. I think you're going to have to make up a lot of your moves, either just having a really good call on restarts early in the race or strategy. You're going to have to get in with strategy. But I do think if you want to contend, you're in the back, you're going to have to get there before the end of stage 2. I do think that's when the race is kind of going to be like, okay, here's the cars that are good. They've gotten better with adjustments. You're going to have to go out and outdrive these guys. The front is really where we're going to have to make up time on pit road, on strategies, whatever you got to do, on restarts. And we'll see that. You see Ryan Blaney's a guy who does that all the time. If he starts to the back, the first 100 laps or so, he's marching his way through the field. And I think you're going to have to see that from a guy who's in the back if he wants to compete later in the race.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think maybe the one caveat to that is we've seen guys with fast cars who've had penalties that can sometimes recover. Maybe if they're back in the picture by the end of stage 3, those guys can still make moves happen. But I'm very much looking forward to it. This is a crown jewel event. The excitement is high for it every year, and I think that's deservedly so. I am curious to see how Connor Zilic does this weekend. He's coming back from the back injury suffered at Talladega. Going to be running both the Xfinity race and the Cup race, and first race back from an injury to be doing 900 miles across 2 days. I think that is kind of a tough ask for the young kid, and I think the goal in the 600, if you're him, has to be you don't need to find that line they're always talking about in the next-gen car. You don't need to find the edge of grip on this car. Just be smart, run the laps, get that Red Bull car at the finish looking as beautiful as it does at the start. Just complete all the laps, run well, and I think Connor definitely has the ability to do that.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
Before we get out of here, let's talk about Kyle Larson. Yeah. Kyle Larson with his Indy and Coke 600 double this weekend, and I'm curious to see what he does at Indy, because we saw him have some decent pace last year, kind of get messed up by some pit road issues. Qualified 21st, had some issues in qualifying where was kind of scared to go out late on the super high speed, which based on the crashes I've been seeing, I don't exactly blame him. And do have to give a quick shout out to Robert Schwartzman for an outstanding rookie pole on his oval racing debut at Indy. Absolutely astonishing for him and Prema. But for Kyle Larson, give me your prediction. Where does he finish at Indy? Where does he finish in Charlotte?
I don't think he goes out and dominates Indy. I don't think he goes out and wins Indy. I think he gets a top 10. I do think he gets the coveted top 10 in the double. I think that happens. Possibly a top 5. I think if he finishes the top 5, it's 4th or 5th. I don't see a podium finish from him this weekend. I'd love to. it's so competitive now. Those guys are so used to that car. It's hard to go into a sport like that and just, do what he's about to do. So, I mean, if he doesn't do it, no one's disappointed in him. But yeah, I do see a top 10 just because of the speed he showed, last time he did this. And as far as Charlotte goes, intermediate track, it's Kyle Larson. If he goes out and runs a clean race and doesn't make a Kyle Larson mistake, which I'm okay with because he wins, but from time to time, trying to win, he does make a mistake that really cost him. And you may see him do that, just trying to make up for some time, to not just make it for time, but make it for the pressure that's on him to finish top 10 in both, especially if he goes out and has a really good Indy and finishes top 5, you're going to really see him push. So as long as he doesn't make a mistake, I think he could easily finish top 5 in Charlotte.
Yeah, as for Indy, I think that he's definitely going to have top 10 speed. I agree with you. And I think he could surprise some people because you look at the new hybrid system that IndyCar is using this year, it's going to be unknown for everyone at Indy, not just Kyle Larson. And with the way he adapts to race cars, I really think that opens the door for him to shock some people. I don't think he wins it, but I think he might put on a pretty good show because if you have a bunch of other drivers that are also uncomfortable, that's usually the kind of environment where Kyle Larson can thrive, and I would love to see him pull a Tony Stewart, go top 10 in both, and as you said, he definitely has the speed to in Charlotte if he manages to pull it off in Indy. So very excited for it. Hopefully the weather isn't against him this year. He manages to pull it off, and we don't have any discussions about waivers and that, though they have said they will prioritize the Coke 600, which I think NASCAR is very happy they've made that decision. I know NASCAR was kind of in like a, no, you will come to our event and you will participate. You are our star guy. And I think they're happy to see him doing that this year, but should be fun. It's always great to see someone attempt the double. I am kind of sad I never got to see Jimmie Johnson do that. I think that later in his career, that would have been a fun thing for him to try when he was doing Indy full time, but obviously never happened. But with that said, looking forward to the Coke 600 this weekend, Memorial Day weekend up in Charlotte. It's always a good time. Although, is it not a Memorial Day weekend this year? Is Memorial Day weekend the weekend after? No, it is this weekend. It is.
Yeah,
this
weekend.
Yep. Right?
Yep. As always.
I want to say it's still the same. Yeah. All right. Brief moment of doubting myself, but let's finishing out the outro. Once again, it is 10:30 at night. I am tired. But thank you guys for tuning in. That's been Keegan. I'm Micah. Yeah, outros have been tough today. This has been GTD, and we'll see y'all next week.